What's up, YouTube? This is Mathos97, and welcome back to my WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. This is episode number 2, and we're here with Monday Night Raw. So without further delay, let's take a look at the match card. We have a #1 contenders match for the United States Championship 4-way to kick off the show. We have Nikki Bella with Brie Bella in her corner, taking on Naomi with Cameron in her corner. Rob Van Dam makes his return against The Miz tonight. Kofi Kingston will go one-on-one with Curtis Axel. John Cena, the WWE Champion, will go one-on-one with the Big Red Monster Kane. And in our main event, it is a #1 contenders match for the WWE Championship, Batista versus The Rock. And this match was put together by Paul Heyman, the Raw General Manager. I'd imagine, Paul Heyman, he made the move to bring Batista to Raw. So I have a feeling that, that was part of the deal to bring Batista to Raw, that he would get a WWE Championship opportunity. So as we can see, Naomi gets the win over Nikki Bella. Curtis Axel defeats Kofi Kingston here. And it looks like John Cena, the WWE Champion, picks up a victory over Kane. So we're going to go ahead and move into our opening contest here. This is, of course, the #1 contenders match for the United States Championship. And you're probably wondering, well, why is that? If you're following the series, Del Rio is, of course, the former United States Championship. He has a rightful rematch clause. Well, Paul Heyman, it was said exclusively, because I can't do a freaking promo because story designer's not in the game. I don't know. I still got to figure out what I'm going to do about that, how I'm going to do promos and whatnot, because I'd like to try to do something, but I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out yet. But for now, what I was going to do is, just also with like the whole roster change, is really just kind of throwing off my Universe Mode, because on SmackDown, Edge is supposed to be the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title. He's not in the game yet. He's on DLC, so I gotta wait for that. So I don't know if you've got any suggestions. What do you think I should do for the World Heavyweight Championship over on SmackDown? Who the potential contender should be. If you have any suggestions, be sure to let me know. And also, I should have said this in the career mode video I uploaded yesterday, but if you can hear any hardwood flooring construction that's going on in the apartment above me, I do apologize for that. It wasn't altogether that bad in the career mode episode. I mean, it was there for a little while and then they kind of stopped. So I guess we'll see how this episode goes. But it looks like they're back to doing it now. In place, they're not literally right above my room anymore, so it's not quite as loud. But anyway, I was talking about what this match is about. As this is a fatal 4-way, of course, Jack Swagger versus Del Rio for the U.S. title at the Royal Rumble. But you got to be wondering, why are we having a #1 contenders match for the title? Well, the reason for that is because, Swagger, he's now a 3-time United States champion. I mean, that title's just been going back and forth all over the place. I mean, you got to think back at No Way Out, the October pay-per-view, Roman Reigns won the U.S. title, and then prior to Survivor Series, Swagger won the title back. At Survivor Series, Del Rio won a Battle Royal to win the U.S. title, and then at TLC, Jack Swagger won it back. So, Paul Heyman's kind of getting tired of all this flip-flopping of the U.S. title, and he's looking to put an end to it once and for all. So, that is why we have a 3rd contender, so it's going to be a triple threat at the Royal Rumble. And the reason for that basically is because, Swagger, Del Rio, they've been kind of hogging up the United States Championship title picture for a while now. And we've got a lot of potential contenders for that title, and that is exactly why we have this fatal 4-way here, right now, live on Monday Night Raw. And these are what were considered the top 4 contenders for that title. Look at this elbow drop from Ziggler there to Cesaro. Of course, Dolph Ziggler, he's potentially a #1 contender, or not #1 contender, but a potential contender for the WWE Championship sometime in the future. As we got to remember, back on Monday Night Raw a few weeks ago, he defeated the then #1 contender for the WWE title, The Undertaker. So Dolph Ziggler, he's got to be at the top of that United States Championship division, and probably in that top 5, top 10 range for the WWE title. So I don't think a loss here would hurt him all that much. But then of course we've got Big E Langston, who's kind of been floating around in the U.S. title picture for a little while. If you don't remember, way back in WWE 13 Universe Mode, Capital Punishment, he had a match against Jack Swagger for the U.S. title, and he was unsuccessful on that outing. But that just kind of shows Big E, he's been in this U.S. Championship picture for a while now. Then, of course, we've got R-Truth, who made a shocking return a few weeks ago, or about a month ago, I guess it would be now. And he went right after The Rock. That just makes a huge statement. He was gunning right for the main event picture. So even right now, I'd have to say he's in that kind of an upper mid-card role. As long as he can just keep up some good wins here. And here's Big E, splash right to her. Hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but Dolph Ziggler just gets in there to break that one up and save the matchup for all 4 men. And then, of course, we've got Cesaro, who I think is the favorite to win this matchup. I mean, he's been just getting victory after victory in recent weeks, and he was in that U.S. title Battle Royal at Survivor Series as well, and he was a favorite to win that one. So I think Cesaro has a pretty good opportunity here. He's at the top of the contenders list. But wait a minute, he could be about to be put at the bottom here. Big ending by Big E Langston, and that could do it. There's a cover. 1, 2, 3, and all. Ziggler, Truth, they were too distracted. They were unable to get over there and break up the pinfall attempt, and because of that, Big E has put into Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, and R-Truth's chances at the U.S. title, and he has picked up the victory here. So it looks like at the Royal Rumble, Jack Swagger defending his United States Championship against Alberto Del Rio, and now Big E in a triple threat match. That is set to be huge way to kick off the Royal Rumble. Debating whether or not I'm going to have a pre-show or not for that event. I guess it all depends on how many matches I'm going to have, but we'll see how that works out here. But Big E, successful. He gets the victory here tonight. And now it is time to move on to the next matchup of the evening. It is, of course, Rob Van Dam making his return to WWE. He did make an appearance in WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. He was in about the scene for a while, and then he kind of disappeared for a little bit. Then he came back around Survivor Series for that U.S. title Battle Royal, and then he kind of disappeared again. But he's back once again. He's been taking these couple of minor hiatuses, but now I think RVD is going to be back for good here this time around. And here comes The Miz. Of course, The Miz made his return to the WWE after, a 2 or 3 month absence on the final episode of Main Event in WWE 2K14 Universe Mode. A match where he lost to, you gotta get this, Adam Rose. Apparently, the hitman that had been plaguing Miz back around Night of Champions, trying to attack him and assault him backstage, turns out it was Adam Rose. I'm just as shocked as any of you would be. I didn't expect that at all. And apparently Adam Rose just wanted Miz to join the party. But of course, Adam Rose, he's not in the game yet. He's DLC as well. So Miz, he's going to have to wait to get that opportunity, as we haven't seen or heard from Adam Rose since Main Event. But Miz now, he's got to be frustrated. Coming back after filming a Hollywood movie, like he was saying, he had an opportunity to participate in the King of the Ring tournament, but, all this Hitman stuff just kind of threw him off his game. Like Miz was saying, he had the potential to become WWE champion. He had the potential to win the King of the Ring tournament, become #1 contender, and challenge for the WWE title, but Adam Rose took that all away from him. So Miz, he's got to be frustrated that he can't get his hands on Adam Rose. But Adam Rose just kind of treated the whole thing as a game. That's got to just infuriate the Miz. But for now, he's going to have to wait till Adam Rose makes his return, and he's going to have to deal with RVD. Big boot right to the face. But the Miz, he's just got to get back on track. If he's looking to get some revenge on Adam Rose, when and where he does make his return, the Miz, he's just going to have to try to pick up some victories there, get some momentum on his side, so that when he does encounter Adam Rose, not only does he have a better chance of getting the victory there, if he can beat someone the likes of RVD, but then afterwards, he could potentially line himself up for maybe another U.S. title opportunity, or if he really thinks he can become WWE champion, if he really thinks he has what it takes, then he's just gonna have to work really hard towards that. But a victory over Adam Rose, victory over RVD, and a number of other superstars could probably help Miz achieve that goal. But right now, RVD, he's making his return, and of course Van Dam, he could use this victory as well, of course. He competed for the U.S. title in that Battle Royal at Survivor Series, but since then, you know, other than that, he hasn't really been much of a factor here in Universe Mode. So Van Dam probably could use a victory here, and then I don't know where he's going to go from there. Is he maybe going to try to contend for the WWE title sometime in the future? Or is he maybe going to go back after that U.S. title? Or maybe he could team up with his protege Cesaro potentially and go after the tag team titles, because you know, ever since Night of Champions, ever since the King of the Ring tournament, you know, Van Dam and Cesaro seem to have developed a mutual respect for each other. And you know, every once in a while they've been kind of making appearances as a tag team, kind of working together, and RVD has kind of become this mentor-like figure for Cesaro. So we'll see. You know, maybe they want to reunite this time for good, and maybe potentially go after those tag team titles. Because I mean, we saw Cesaro; he lost his opportunity at the U.S. title moments ago. So maybe they do want to go after those tag team titles sometime in the future. Nice rolling thunder there from Rob Van Dam. And Van Dam now, we know what that's going to set up. He hit the rolling thunder, and he's going for it to the top. Feeling a little froggy, 5-star frog splash onto the Miz. There's 2, and that is it for this one. Rob Van Dam picking up a huge victory here in his return to Monday Night Raw, his return to Universe Mode, for the returning Miz. And Miz, you know, he's just continuously been frustrated here in these return matches. First, the loss to Adam Rose, now to Rob Van Dam. Miz, he's gonna have to, I don't know, he's gonna have to find something to, you know, get himself back into the swing of things here in Universe Mode. But you know, he's got plenty of opportunities ahead of him, and the same goes for Rob Van Dam. And now we are ready to move into our main event of the evening, and this match has huge implications, as it is The Rock versus this man, the Animal, Dave Batista, for the WWE Championship. And you know what? I'm just going to take a break. They're back to hardwood flooring. I'm going to wait for a few seconds, and I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I apologize for that whole situation. I'm slowly becoming increasingly frustrated with my situation so far. At the beginning of this game's release, I just haven't had as much time to do commentaries, and then when I do have the time, you know, something like this happens. Yeah, it's just a little frustrating. But I'm not gonna let that ruin this video, as we've got a huge main event coming up right now. I mean, The Rock, he's coming off a victory at TLC against R-Truth, and you know, The Rock, he's just an icon. He's always a threat in the WWE. I mean, unless he's not around filming a movie or something, but he's not filming movies. He's back to compete on a full-time schedule here in Universe Mode. You know, we got to remember, back at Survivor Series, he came off a crushing defeat at the hands of the Shield in a 6-man tag where he teamed up with Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And you know, after that, got the victory over R-Truth at TLC, a much-needed bounce-back win. And now he's here against Batista. This is a huge opportunity for The Rock. And how about Batista? You know, back on SmackDown around SummerSlam, you know, he made a return to the WWE after years of absence. He came back, tried to go after the World Heavyweight Championship, and failed. And then, you know, he had to take a bit of a hiatus. He took, as he termed it, a leave of absence. As, you know, he just wasn't living up to his standards. He was not happy with his performance, so he took a bit of a break, and apparently Paul Heyman convinced him to make a return to the WWE. And evidently, he had some sort of a contract. They must have struck some sort of a deal, some sort of a contract where Batista would be guaranteed a #1 contenders match for the title, and that's what he's got here tonight. However, he is coming off of a loss to Daniel Bryan at the TLC pay-per-view, which, you know, that was a match that both of those superstars needed to win. So really, I don't think either of the two could have afforded a loss there. Of course, Daniel Bryan, though, he's got Brock Lesnar on the horizon, the Beast Incarnate, a matchup that Bryan has been, you know, asking for since, you know, Night of Champions. He's been looking forward to this match with Brock Lesnar. I mean, Daniel Bryan's situation, just ever since you know, what was the pay-per-view before Vengeance? It would have been Capital Punishment. Ever since, you know, right after Capital Punishment back in June, Daniel Bryan, you know, his whole situation started where he wanted a match with CM Punk. The Authority wouldn't give it to him, and eventually, when it came around Night of Champions, No Way Out time, Daniel Bryan basically said, you know what? I'm going to beat every single opponent that CM Punk has faced while he was WWE Champion, and then I will be deserving of a match with CM Punk. So he defeated Chris Jericho at No Way Out. Survivor Series, he defeated Curtis Axel in a match that Paul Heyman orchestrated, saying that if Bryan could beat Axel, he would get an opportunity with Brock Lesnar. So he beat Curtis Axel, but then Paul Heyman brought back Batista on the Survivor Series pre-show to attack Daniel Bryan in an impromptu matchup and score the victory. So Batista, you know, he made quite the impactful debut. However, when it came time to have the pay-per-view match with Bryan at TLC, unfortunately, came up a little bit short. I mean, Bryan, there was nothing really Batista was going to be able to do about that. I mean, Bryan is just so determined, and he's just been getting held back for months by the Authority. And, you know, I really don't think there was much Batista could do. He had met his match there that night. And Daniel Bryan is the future WWE Champion. I can say that right now without a shadow of a doubt. So Batista, I mean, he was going up against a huge, formidable opponent. Whereas I think here tonight, not to say that The Rock is not a formidable opponent and isn't, you know, a huge threat, but I'd have to say, you know, The Rock, this is not The Rock of 2001, 2002. This is not The Rock in his prime. So I think Batista, he's got a bit more of an opportunity here. It's a bit more of a fair fight against The Rock here, as they have kind of similar styles. Batista a bit more powerful, he's got the edge there, but The Rock does not possess the speed and the technical skill that Daniel Bryan does. But Batista was going for the big spear there. The Rock was able to counter with a DDT, and now The Rock, look at this, he's got him, takes him down now with a nice reverse suplex. And I do apologize, they're back to doing the hardwood flooring. Nothing I can do. I'm sincerely sorry about that, but it's just out of my hands. And now The Rock, here's an Irish whip, and look at this. Oh my God, The Rock, look at that. Oh, he caught him with a rock bottom. He catapulted him up into the air. 1, 2, 3. No, I think Batista just managed to get his shoulder up off the mat there at 2 15/16, but wow, that move by The Rock though. A catapult. He just catapulted Batista like 10 feet in the air and then hit him with a rock bottom. I actually thought that they had taken those out of the game. I didn't realize they were still in the game. I thought I had heard something where like the OMG moments would be taken out of the game because they weren't as realistic. Not all the OMG moments, but just like, you know, the catapult finishers, because not all of them are realistic. Hey, 2K, you're going for a realistic game, and yet I don't know. I'm just turning this into a rant now for no reason. Spine buster, spine on the pine as Batista takes The Rock down. There's a cover. 1, 2. No, not even a 2 count. The Rock manages to kick out there. But look at Batista and The Rock. They're both spent here in the later stages of this matchup here. Now The Rock kick to the gut of Batista. And look at there's a roll up there. He's got him stacked up on his shoulders, but Batista gets a rope break. And now The Rock, he's going to go for another suplex here. Takes him down. And now The Rock, if he can just hit one more rock bottom, maybe even a people's elbow, I think he could put Batista away. But, you know, he just doesn't have the momentum on his side right now. I mean, he just hit the finisher. And oh, wait a minute. Batista, he's got The Rock up here. And Batista, bomb, as he takes him down. Batista, though, he's spent. He is out of stamina. He's just crawling into the cover, shoulder across the chest of The Rock. 1, 2, 3, and Batista has managed to pull out the victory here in this one. It was very close there at the end. I mean, The Rock with the rock bottom, but Batista just barely able to kick out of that one. And with that Batista bomb, you could see Batista, he was kind of struggling to lift The Rock up there. I mean, Batista, after the grueling match against Daniel Bryan last night at TLC, and then this hard-fought bout against The Rock. I mean, by the end, Batista almost couldn't even, he almost didn't have the strength to even hit the Batista bomb. As in the end, though, Batista had what it took, and he defeated The Rock. As you can see there, he was kind of struggling to get The Rock up there, but even so, it's a lot easier to power someone down to the mat than it is to pick them up, and that's just what it came down to here. Batista still managed to have enough force to knock The Rock out for a 3 count, and Batista is your new #1 contender for the WWE Championship. So Batista, whatever deal he must have struck with Paul Heyman to, come here to Monday Night Raw, has definitely paid out for him big time, even despite the loss to Daniel Bryan at TLC. I mean, with a bounce-back victory over The Rock, I mean, come on, you can't knock that. That's a very formidable achievement there. But that is it for this episode of Universe Mode. I want to thank you all for watching, especially if you stuck it out through the whole video and all the hardwood flooring upstairs that was going on, the pounding of nails and whatnot. It's a little frustrating, but I want to thank you all for watching. And until next time, keep on YouTubing.